morning everyone. This is Sapna Dev. In our previous lecture, we had completed introductory and evolutionary part of Trademark Act 1999, which provides for the registration and better protection of a trademark for goods, services, and for the protection of use of fraudulent marks. Now, in today's lecture, we will see that what is the meaning, nature, function, and various kinds of trademarks. Now, what does mean by trademark? What do you think that? It is a distinctive sign which identifies sometimes goods, services as those produced and provided by a specific person or entities. Its a origin dates its origin dates back to ancient time and when the craftsman reproduces their signature and marks on their artistic product. Over the year, these marks evolved into today's systems of trademark registration and protection. So that is the system help consumer identity and purchase of a product or services because of its nature and quality. It's indicated by unique trademark. So let us take example computers like a Dell, DELL. It's a capital trademark and that identifies the goods and computers related objects. Now, the second example is a Citibank. Citibank is a trademark that relates for services. Which services? The banking, financial services. So, for we have taken like two examples. The first is a Dell and the second is a Citibank. So, Dell is provides the goods also and services also. Citibank provides the services. So, it can be a trademark. But what is the main role and what the functions may perform in the various kinds of that? So trademark may perform various different kinds of function. They may help the consumers identify the distinguished product or services. They enable companies to differentiate between their products, or sometimes we can say that they are like a marketing tools and basis for the building a brand or images and their reputation. They may be a license and provides direct source or revenue through the royalties. Then they are a crucial role components of a business assets. They may be a useful for obtaining finance. This is the main function of the trademark. Or they may be encourage the companies to interest and in maintaining and improving the quality of the product. So on this function, on the basis of these functions, there is a one biggest issue. Is the does the idea trademark protects idea? So the answer is absolutely no. Trademark doesn't protect ideas except the idea it has been materialized and fulfill the legal requirement that trademark protections demands. Let us take example like if the person is a think of the green rectangular with red circle inside of its product. Now the product name is a tins of vegetables in the market. As long as the idea of a green rectangular with red circle inside distinguish his tins of vegetable from the other tins of vegetable. So we could say that the trademark can protect these ideas. Once the idea enjoy the trademark protection, nobody else can use it for the product and belonging to the same product category. So the key element of trademark is a distinctive character. It should be a distinctive character. So I'm using mark again and again. The word is a mark. But what is mark and what is mark for? So the main purpose of mark is to identify the commercial origin of a product or services they refer to. The mark also passes on the consumer the idea that all products or services identifies with the same marks are provided with the same quality. Now the main aim of the holder of mark is that the mark reaches a goodwill in the market, and goodwill presupposes the preference that the consumer will grant the product or services provided with this mark. So the important is like a goodwill. Now sometimes the signs which can constitute a mark, but which signs when we can say that these signs are protected as a mark? So maybe it may be a words, it may be a word combination, it may be images, figures, symbol, graphic, drawing, letter, number, maybe letters and numbers combination, 3D forms, including wrapping, packaging, shape of the product, or its presentation, color, combination of colors. And this is also very important, science pursued by senses also, like sound sense, smell sense, or any combination of whatever we had discussed. Now there are various types of marks. At the time of marks, we will explain you all the kinds and features of the marks. There are actually 5 different types of marks. Those are very important. The first is depending on the sign that constitute the mark. Second is depending on their popularity. Third is depending on the holder. Fourth is depending on the object they represent. Then depending on the sense that perceived them. These are the 5 kinds of different types of marks. Now first we will discuss that depending on the sign that constitute the mark. It may includes denominative marks, graphic marks, mixed marks, and three-dimensional marks. Now what is the denominative marks? Denominative marks, always include letters. So marks that identify a product or service with one or more words. They must be a phonetically distinguishable from the other products or services of the same sort. Let us take example Nike. Nike. It include letter marks. So when the letter includes in the words, it is a denominative marks. Mercedes-Benz, McDonald, LG, IBM. These are the examples for denominative marks. Now what is the graphic marks? Second, what is the graphic marks? Graphic marks include symbol marks. It includes symbol. So marks made of figure, drawing, or logotypes, which is a different visual marks. They are distinctive figures that cannot recognize phonetically or auditory, but it is only a virtual. Like if I am taking example Nike. So the Nike has a right tick mark. It is for true tick mark. This is the mark for Nike. So the symbol is a tick mark, and in the words Nike, Nike is a denominative mark. Now what is the third category is a mix mark. What is the mix mark? They are the result of the combination or more signs of the different kinds. Means they are a generally combination of words with a drawing and design or logotype. Means if I am using Nike and in above Nike I am using symbol like a right tick mark. So both of the word and both of the design drawing, the combination of both is a mix mark. Now fourth kind is a three-dimensional mark. Three-dimensional mark includes the object represented in the 3 dimension, such as a package, wrapping, bottles, and boxes. So this is the first mark types of mark. In first type of marks we have seen 4 categories. The first is a denominative marks, second is a graphical marks, then third is mixed mark, and the fourth is a 3-dimensional mark. Is this clear? The second now, it's a depending upon their popularity. Your second type is a depending on their popularity. It includes common mark and well-known mark. Both are very important marks. In common marks, all signs that identify in the market certain product or services, but that do not enjoy the significant or relevant popularity among the consumer. But in case of well-known mark, it refers to mark that are known by a general public, and besides for a mark to be considered as a well-known mark, there must be a generalized opinion that the product or services under the mark are top quality products or services. Like well-known marks are imposes itself to the principle of speciality of the mark. Therefore, the use of third party of the marks it will not be allowed. like Coca-Cola and Rolex and Ferrari. It will not allowed when the use of third party of the marks. It should be in well-known marks. Then third category of your types of mark is depending on the holder. In depending on the holder, it may include individual mark as well as collective mark. Individual mark means those are executively held by specific individual or legal entity. Audi. Example is Audi. The symbol is round, round, round. Three rounds of the circle. Then those are the executively held by specific individual or legal entity. Then second is a collective mark. Those marks being used by a group of companies can now be protected by a group of collectivity. Collective mark is used to inform the public about the particular feature of the product for which the collective mark is used. The owner of a mark may be such as association, public institution or cooperative of which the enterprise is a member. Collective marks is also used to promote the particular product which have certain characteristics specific to the producer in the given region. Let us take example made in India. It's a collective mark. Then second is a MBA. MBA is a association, so it is a MBA mark. Then our next category or next type is a depending upon the object they represent. Before that we will go for revision. We have seen the three kinds of types of mark. The first is depending upon the sign which constitute the collective marks. Includes the four categories: denominative mark, graphic marks, mixed marks, three-dimensional marks, right? The second type we have seen depending upon the popularity. We have seen common mark and well-known mark. Third is depending on the holder. It includes individual mark as well as collective mark. Next type is depending on the object they represent. Means when they represent with their object, that is the product mark. Let us take example like signs that only represent the product. This is called as a reproduct or product mark. Then second is a guarantee mark. Guarantee means those are that's guarantee common characteristic, especially the quality, the component and the origin of the product produced, the distributed or service offered by the individual or legal entity who are duly authorized and monitored by the holder of the mark. Example of ISI mark or wool mark. This gives like a guarantee to you for your product or to the consumer. The next types is depending on the sense and pursue them. Now depending of the sense is include the smell and sound. So smell mark means what? It's very easy. Smell marks means those that are made of a small smell. The smell must be so characteristic and distinctive that it cannot be mistaken or authorized with the another. Let us take example cherry smell marks with the for the lubricant. So when the cherry smells marks is there, so obviously the lubricant is there. So the main obstacle for the registration of a smell mark is to fulfill the requirement for a graphic representation. This is the one of the main lacuna of the smell product and smell marks. The second is a sound mark. The signs that to pursue by a hearing sense, and these signs that are distinguishable by their distinctive and exclusive sound. It's like a notation. The main obstacle is the same problem. Registration of a sound mark is to be fulfill the requirement of a graphic representation. So this is the lacuna of the sound mark. Now with the other we have seen the five important different types. The others are types also are there, like a brand. The second is a label. When we attach well-known brands of the ready-made clothes like a flying machine, jeans, Van Heuner shirt, these are the label. Third, color combination. Color combination schemes can